And we want to welcome Paul Tracey to the program. He is the founder and CEO of a managed security service provider firm called Innovative Technologies, and he's also a national speaker, a cybersecurity educator, small business advocate, and the author of Delete the Hacker Playbook. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
You bet. So we all know what the little thumb drive things are, and I guess we've kind of slowed down on using those maybe as much as we once did, right?
A little bit. They're still used a lot more probably than they should be, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And you're real susceptible to malware or a virus if you're not careful, right?
Yeah, so, malware is one of the problems with thumb drives, in that it's very easy to load on. And recently we've noticed that it's actually been coming from some of the factories in the supply chain preloaded on those devices. So there's a great deal of risk associated with them if they're not managed properly.
You mean you go to the store and buy what you think is a blank thumb drive and it already has a virus on it?
It is possible, and it has happened in recent history, yes. More specifically with probably some of the, online retailers more so than your large big box stores.
Okay.
But it's happening at the supply chain level, so it's possible in all of those environments. But that's, an overall problem we really need to look at, is these things happening in supply chain. But it's possible there. It's also possible, even if someone just is able to get their hands on your thumb drive for a couple of moments, they can download all kinds of bad things on there if they'd like to.
Any idea where the infective thumb drives are coming from?
All of the reports that I've seen are from manufacturers in China of devices that have been found with malware on them. But that's also, has a little bit of difficulty into tracing because, what parts came from where and where they got assembled. But if you're encrypting those devices, you can get past that danger and make yourself a lot safer in the long run in terms of having malware, or even in terms of losing the drive and having someone else be able to access it and get what's on it.
And you say that they are, you've said this, that they are notoriously unreliable forms of saving data. What would you suggest as an alternative?
We always recommend, it depends on the application, really. If you're taking some pictures from a computer in one room and you're going to load them to the other room and you're not deleting them from the first machine, that's relatively safe. Thumb drives, in terms of storing data that you want to keep for long-term storage, is really a bad idea. I don't know if you've had this happen to you, but a lot of times you go to plug in a thumb drive and you get a little message that says, "Can't read the drive, we need to reformat the drive."
Yes.
The problem is, right? Yeah, right. So a lot of us have had that happen. The problem is when you go to reformat that drive, you lose everything that's on it. And so we really don't want anyone putting anything of higher value, even, family photos or anything that you don't want to lose. Really, thumb drives are meant, excuse me, as more of a transfer media, or if you need to, save something from the time you're at home and you're going to use that when you get to the office or whatnot, that kind of short-term storage is fine. But I've actually seen people backing up their entire computer onto thumb drives and assuming that that's safe storage, and it's really not.
Well, and you also talk about, and I've never even thought of this, but that some attackers, there are those electronic devices like the electronic picture frames and stuff, and those are, you use USB devices on those, or the electronic device itself is already infected.
Correct. So that's another supply chain issue, and I know that, supply chain keywords come up a lot lately in the media, and it's because it's vitally important. So if those devices come out of a factory and they already have some kind of malicious software on them, anything that you plug in, USB drive, you're going to be able to transfer that data. So a lot of people don't realize on your USB drive, you have the ability to transfer two things, power and data, right? So anytime you're plugging anything into a USB connection, you're opening that data connection. So even past USB drives, let's say you go to the airport, you have your cell phone with you, you're sitting there and they have their little built-in USB ports that you can plug into.
Right.
Never do that. Ever
Never do that?
Never do that. Unless you know you're using a cord that doesn't transfer data, someone could very easily sit there and infect those ports, and then every person who plugs into it is going to help spread whatever they put in it.
I've never heard of that. That's kind of scary. That's real scary. Okay.
And the bad part of a lot of it does sound really scary, but there's some, fairly easy precautions that we can all take to make ourselves safer. In terms of cell phones and that specific issue, what I tell people is don't ever borrow an inch charger. Bring your own charger with you, and if you're going to use a charger, make sure you're not plugging directly into a USB port. Make sure you're charging into a regular power outlet charger and plugging that into the wall.
Okay.
Then you've pretty much eliminated, your risk from that danger.
Okay. Well, good advice, and thank you for letting us know. And we have been speaking this morning to cybersecurity expert Paul Tracey. He's founder and CEO of Innovative Technologies. And Paul, where can our listeners go for more information?
For more information on us is upstatetechsupport.com.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time and having us on.
You bet. Bye-bye.